Today, we're going to be predicting the next 5 World Series champions, 2026, 2027, 28, 29, and 2030, which feels insane to say out loud. We're going to go through our matchups and who we ultimately think is going to win the World Series in that year. It's just more ball talk. Subscribe to the Windup. Appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas to everybody out there who celebrates. Hope you're having a happy holidays and a happy new year as well. James, 2026 next season. We're making way too early predictions, but I've got mine. Who do you got for yours?
I've got mine too, and I think obviously doing an exercise like this, the one that's next year is going to be the easiest to predict. But I have, you ready for this?
Yes.
The Seattle Mariners defeating the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Ooh, okay. All right. I like it. I mean, we've talked about what those rosters looked like when the season ended. We ranked every team in baseball, and we had those as two of the top. Of course, the Dodgers won. I think the Mariners, for both of us, were inside the top 5 at worst. For the Mariners, the pitching's disgusting. You still have Julio Rodriguez, who's one of the best players in baseball. Randy Arozarena, Cal Raleigh. Like, this team is still very, very good. They need to bring in, I think, a few more pieces to really solidify their chances. But with that rotation and bullpen still, you always feel good going into next season.
And this is a bit of a projection bet on me. Like, I think that there either could be a trade for Ketel Marte, dumping some of the pitching depth, or just being opportunistic with the back end of their lineup towards the end of the offseason. Because they definitely need pieces. Like, I don't think a World Series team is going to have, Dominic Canzone hitting 5th on opening day, and Ben
Your boy,
Williamson.
Dominic Canzone, Ohio State.
I like Italian Dom hitting 7th. I don't want him hitting 5th. But like there's room here to upgrade the back end of this lineup. But I think next year you get still a great version of Logan Gilbert, still a great version of Brian Wu. Hopefully he's healthy for the playoff run. And I do think another year removed from whatever weird, suspicious injury things that George Kirby went through at the beginning of this year, I think you get some of that fastball shape back, positive regression. He's a better version of himself. And then Bryce Miller and Luis Castillo kind of become cake. And then from there, you kind of have, again, which should be the best rotation in the American League rolling.
And I think they just are positioned in such a good place, like you said, to make a big trade, whether it's in the offseason or at the trade deadline. The fact that they have all these prospects in their system that are loaded, and some of them will come up, maybe like a Colt Emerson at some point, they can make a move.
Definitely. And while the Mariners do right now probably have arguably one of the best prospects, one of the best farm systems in baseball, besides for Emerson and probably Cade Anderson, just because of how quickly I think he's going to move through the system once he goes to the Seattle Mariners School of Velocity, the rest of their big-time prospects are far away.
Yes.
So I think that because that era of their prospects that are being developed aren't really on par with these pitchers right now, who all have between 2 and 4 years left of team control, and just knowing the way the Seattle Mariners do business, assuming not really all of them get re-signed by that team, I think they understand that they have like an 18-month window to push chips in now and make, like they did this past trade deadline with Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor. But I think there's a move for a bat coming for this Mariners team. I think they know this is the window, and I think that Jerry DiPolo will be aggressive about it.
I like it. Yeah, and Dodgers, plain and simple, they won the World Series last year. All right, I went a different route. I went Red Sox in the American League East. Just loving the way that team's coming together, and I still think they're going to go get Bregman. And if they do, that lineup is phenomenal. The rotation looks great, along with all the young arms I think will take step forwards too this year. The Red Sox feel like a team that might just have that juice this season, especially because it's dog after dog in that lineup. And I'm interested to see what they can do, whether it's going to be trading off Jarren Duran, Wilyer Abreu, what that brings them back in a trade. Because if they move one of those guys and go get a Cole Reagans or another frontline starter, that team all of a sudden is the best in the American League. I think if you get one more legit pitcher, they feel really good. And then from the National League side, kind of mentioned this last year in my predictions, the Phillies have to make the World Series. They have to. The window is closing. Everybody on every team's getting older, but that team specifically, the age is going to start to catch up at some point. Zach Wheeler coming off a scary injury. You have the young pitching still with like Jesus Luzardo, who's going to be there. You have maybe Andrew Painter making his major league debut at some point. They're going to have to push the chips in. The farm system guys are coming to the top, and then again, there's nothing after them. So how are you going to build this team moving forward past 2026, especially if you don't win or at least try to win, which I think Dave Dombrowski as well, being on the hot seat, he's got to make the World Series or it's bust, right?
Yeah, I consider them for this one, but just without the certainty around Zach Wheeler, it's hard for me to consider them a World Series team right now. And I don't know if Ranger Suarez will be back with them. Talk about a guy we've heard nothing about this offseason.
Feels like he might just come back to them on like another 1-year prove-it deal and they'd be happy.
Which that would be good news for them, because also with the uncertainty around Zach Wheeler and just the way that Andrew Painter didn't look the same last year coming back from Tommy John. Not saying one more year away from surgery, he could tick back up again, but there's probably just, he went from being like a steaming rocket to the sun to being like a nice plane flying in the air. And I think that's a big difference for a team that needs to get past the Dodgers.
And the fact that they brought back Schwarber, it looks like they're going to bring back Real Muto. Harper, still really good. Trey Turner, still very good. They're going with Adolis Garcia in the outfield, probably trade Nick Castellanos at some point. These are all moves that are signaling like we are going to try and win right now. We're going to run it back with the gang one more time.
They have no choice.
They have no choice. So that's kind of why I put them here. And also, the Dodgers they've played so much extra baseball over the last few years, more than anybody. Surely they're going to just not make the World Series one of these years.
Kind of, but on the flip side of that, which is why I had the Dodgers reaching the World Series in 2026 and just to transition to the next one, winning the World Series in 2027 again.
Well, we didn't pick who's our winner in 2026.
I said Mariners.
Oh, you said Mariners? I'm going Red Sox.
Okay, nice. We both think the Dodgers will not win the World Series again, but now 2027, I have the Dodgers winning the World Series again.
I had the Dodgers too, simply from the fact of 26. Let's rest up a little bit. Let's not win it this year. Let's come back in 2027, win it all. It's the last year, I think, of Freddie Freeman's contract as well. So that kind of feels like their last hurrah with this group before all the young guys come up and become all the next superstars.
Yeah, until Josue DePaula comes up and is like a 3,500 guy.
Is that your hope?
At the Red Sox, I have winning this one, again, reaching the last one, because while, like you said...
Dodgers.
I have the Dodgers beating the Red Sox 2027 World Series.
I have them beating the Orioles.
Okay, there we go. But usually with these teams, when you keep going to the World Series year after year, you have a lot of the same players year after year. The Dodgers had one of the same pitchers in 2024 and 2025, and that was Tyler Glasnow, who didn't really even pitch that much in either World Series. So like they have the freshness of arms to get past this like year over year, adding on all these extra innings, which is why I just think, again, like there's nothing, I don't think anything will stop. Like there's no way to stop this team in the near future until you get some kind of fall off from the trio of Betts, Freeman, Ohtani, which you got a little bit of that with Betts this year. I think he will bounce back well next year. I just think that until that 2027 year, like no, there's not really going to be any chinks in the armor.
No, that's your favorite thing to say, by the way.
I say it all the time.
You say that almost every single video that we do. You mention chinks in the armor, which is absolutely crazy that's your go-to catchphrase.
Big medieval guy.
Yeah, of course. Big medieval guy, known Game of Thrones fan. The Dodgers are just so good. That's really what it is. At the end of the day, it's a well-oiled machine. They've been built to be this well-oiled machine so that if things do go wrong, it kind of doesn't even matter. And we saw that in 2024. Things did go wrong. Like you mentioned with the pitching, they won the World Series. Things went right in 2025. It was harder for them to win the World Series, funny enough. Still did. I'm giving them the one-year break in 26, 27 against the Orioles. And to talk about them a little bit, why I had the Orioles in the World Series. Signing Pete Alonso, they're making a move to try and win in the next couple of years. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, I know you're not an Adley guy, but like a lot of that core feels like they're going to be hitting their prime in the next 2 seasons or so, and it's going to be a really make-or-break moment for the Orioles on what they do for that franchise moving forward, because Gunnar's going to have to get paid at some point. They're just going to have to start paying their cheap guys, and at some point, they're going to have good pitching. And maybe it's 2027 when they make some moves for guys who will be on expiring contracts for the 28 season.
Yeah, I think that is the case there. And I like that rationale, just to add a different team to the mix like the Orioles. And I'll tell you this right now, I'm going to have the Red Sox on this list a lot. I think that the Red Sox are going to enter an era of prominence right now. I guess when I talk about their World Series in the future, we could talk about them more. But if you want to go 2028.
I'm worried what you're going to say.
2028 was my crazy one.
Okay, what do you got for 2028?
Mets over Yankees.
Oh my God! I thought you had Mets over Red Sox. I have Mets over Red Sox.
So we both for some reason have the Mets winning the World Series in 2028.
It's a hive mind. We've picked 2027, 2028, the same World Series champions without talking about this prior.
Yeah.
But is your reasoning for 2028 Mets the same as mine? It's like it's just cleaner books, new players in. You still have Lindor, Soto. A lot of the younger guys will be like fully established veterans, hopefully at that point. And Tarek Skubal will be a Met in 2027. It'll be a second season here. The young pitching it'll be disgusting.
Yeah, what I'm saying is by that year of 2028, we still have Beatty and Alvarez under team control. Right now, the only Mets under contract after that season will be Lindor and Soto. So I think you'll still have, this will be the last year of Marcus Semien riding the bench probably at that point. And I think Devin Williams will still be in the bullpen finishing off his 3 tremendous seasons. But the way the Mets are going to graduate young players over the next few years, I think has the chance to be pretty special, starting with Carson Bench and then just a slew of very interesting pieces that don't really look like stars, but look like probable major league starters. Guys like AJ Ewing, Jacob Reimer, Ryan Clifford. Then like the pitching just looks like it's about to become like a bit of an avalanche for the Mets pitching prospects wise. Like after saying what Nolan McLean did this year, seeing if the Mets hang on to Jonah Tong and don't trade them for Ketel Marte this offseason. It's them. Brandon Sproat's a good back end guy. Will Watson, Jack Wenninger, Zach Thornton. Like go down the list. Like Jonathan Santucci. Like there's going to start to be mutants coming through the system.
And that's for the guys that are currently in this organization.
Yeah, true.
Like the Mets have been able and have shown that they're able to just produce pitchers seemingly out of thin air. Nolan McLean was a two-way player. He was a reliever in college. And they were like, how about you get nasty at the major league level now? Jonah Tong was a later round pick. Like they've been able to pick and choose guys, find guys with traits. That makes me believe in them. Also, they're just gonna have to try and actually be good at some point. Like
spending a lot of money.
Yeah, they're gonna have to spend a lot of money again. Like it's just that's how it works in New York. That's how it works in the Mets. If you want to be one of the best teams with this roster, you can't just pick and choose to spend big money on a couple guys and then let the rest of the roster kind of play out. So I think it'll be like Skubal, Soto, Lindor. Those will be the three pillars of this organization, and then get some nice guys around them. Like you mentioned, Reimer and Ewings, those are the perfect guys to be the free players on the roster.
Oh, definitely. I think that there's going to be a point where either they will be or you create the next group of guys and you're able to make big trades and get the auxiliary pieces this team will need. And I wanted to throw the Yankees some love because 2028, well, this is the year after the Giancarlo Stanton contract finally comes off the books. And I think at that point, they'll be like, oh my God, like we did it.
You don't think that Hal Steinbrenner's just going to celebrate by like taking everybody out to a nice steak dinner and being like, I just made so much more money this offseason because we know he doesn't have the money to spend anymore.
I also think at this point, Aaron Judge will still be like pretty close to prime Aaron Judge. Like I think they're going to wind up re-signing Jazz Chisholm, even though some Yankees fans might not like that. I think you're still going to have a great core.
Jazz is awesome. Jazz is so good.
You're still going to have this great Yankee veteran rotation. Like you'll have by this time proven playoff performers: Garrett Cole, Max Fried, M. Can Schlittler, all still together, ready to go for like one more last hurrah. But I think the Mets edge them in a 6-game series, 2028. That burns the city to the ground.
I do like that. I like it. I do. I'm happy to put a little Yankees hate in there. I didn't put the Yankees on here once. I am a open Yankee hater, and I don't think their farm system has shit in it.
I got pitching.
Maybe.
Yeah, they do. I think
maybe.
They do.
We'll find out. You know what? When they come and do it for a full season, let me know because they haven't been able to do it in forever. So
I mean, I'm definitely lower on George Lombard than most people, but Elmer Cruz Rodriguez, the guy they got from the Red Sox for Narvaez. Yeah, Ben Hess has some nasty breaking stuff. Like they've got. I also Carlos Lagrange. I think Henry Lelaine. Like they keep getting these really big pitchers or really big breaking balls and just converting them. I think that they're going to be able to spit out some pitching depth, and they're going to have aces that run the top. And I
need to see a hit for them though on the pitching side at the major league level. I need to see one.
You don't count Schlittler yet?
Not yet. He threw 40 innings?
All right. Yeah. No. How many McLean throw?
Nolan McLean striking out 35% of the batters he faced.
I'm just saying.
Not walking anybody.
Saying you got to go two sides of the same coin here. But again, I think
have to.
Yeah, you don't have to at all. You don't have to at all. But the Mets are going to have a wicked farm system by then, really converting talent. I think the Yankees will still be very good. That'll be fun. 2029, I got my craziest pick on the whole board.
The 2029 and 2030 winners are crazy. The matchups, they go up against the giant that you would expect, like someone that you would make sense right now, but the winners are the crazy picks. So I'm going to go first with this one.
Yeah, go first with this one.
2029 World Series will be between the Seattle Mariners and the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Pittsburgh Pirates will be the World Series champions.
I picked the Pirates winning the World Series.
Let's go. We're three in a row.
I did the Pirates over the Red Sox. I have the Red Sox losing 2 out of 3 World Series here.
All right, so let's again, I'll let you talk about the Red Sox, and then we'll both talk about the Pirates.
I think the Red Sox right now, again, like this is about to be a demon squad. By this time, you'll be off of this probably late career surge with the Wilson Contreras contract and the Alex Bregman contract. I think the Red Sox will have tons of success during this time, but I just think that they might just not get over the hump by then. But by here, they'll be back to spending on mega contracts. They're going to have this pitching really built out. You'll still have Garrett Crochet. I think you'll probably have to re-sign him at that point. I think that's right at 1 year after his opt-out, but I assume he's a fixture in Boston until the day he dies at this point. You'll be off the Sonny Gray money. I think Connolly Early and Peyton Toley both have the upside of being true twos in a rotation, if not better. Kyson Witherspoon is a freak of nature, and him getting in the Red Sox pitching lab, I think you're going to see some crazy stuff. And just up and down the system, there's really non-stop exciting prospects everywhere you look. And I think there are going to be a lot of conversions. Craig Bressel's already shown he's not afraid to push chips in for a big trade when the time is ready for it. I think Frank Linares comes up to be a good defensive shortstop. We'll see where the bat winds up. Like there's just so many ways things can go right for this Red Sox club, and I think that I have them in a lot of these World Series matchups over the next 5 years because of it.
Pretty good chance that Roman Anthony has maybe a MVP in his trophy cabinet by this point as well. He's so ridiculously good. I think the Red Sox fans know, and I think the people watching the Windup, I think, know how good Roman Anthony is. But the greater baseball world, they're like, it's 71 games. How good was he? It's like, no, he's that guy. He's really that dude.
It is that good. And also, I still think that we're going to get a big. I think Christian Campbell's still going to do something great in his career. I don't know where. Again, I don't think he'll ever find a defensive home, but I still there was too good of a blend of swing decisions, exit velocities, and bat speed over the last year for me to believe that he can actually be a bust. And they already locked him up, and I try to trust what they're doing process-wise in that organization to lock a guy like that up. And like, it's going to just come similar to what I was saying about the Mets. Like, these are two clubs, I think, the player development is going to start to come like an avalanche. And then when that begins, like that's kind of how the Dodgers started that first era of prominence. Like that,
and that's also what's going to keep them relevant during these years as well, as their stars get older, is that their farm system, like you're talking about some of the best farm systems in baseball right now, it is the Dodgers, Mets, and Red Sox.
I think the Mariners as well.
Mariners too, yes.
And the Pirates with Connor Griffin at the top, which is, again, we'll start a transition there. But like
very different teams. There's three that you can be like, I know why. And then the other two are like, that's kind of fun.
Which is that, like, it's easy to forget because of how much the Dodgers have, like, pushed the chips in on superstars for the last 5 years. But the first time when they kept going to World Series and losing them, it was Seager, Puig, Walker Buehler, Kenley Jansen. Like, it was those guys.
Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw was different. He came up a lot sooner. But Cody Bellinger winning an MVP as a homegrown player in his second year. Like, that was how they did that first era where they kept getting late in the playoffs and losing. And then they were like, fuck this. Yeah. Let's let all of these guys go and just buy superstars. Who cares at this point? That's kind of what... I don't know. I see the Red Sox kind of going through the push and pull of that process over the next 5 years.
All right, let's talk about the Pirates now. You had the Pirates winning?
The Pirates winning. Pirates over Red Sox.
Too. All right, Pirates over Mariners. Big one that I had circled. This is probably there's a good chance that this could be the last year that Paul Skeens ever pitches for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
Everything tells us that Paul Skeens is going to be the highest paid pitcher to ever walk the face of the earth, possibly by the time that he hits free agency. If that's the case, if he keeps up where he is, I just don't think the Pirates will ever be the top bidder. Feels almost impossible. They simply don't have the money with the other teams. That's one of the few times ever where I'll be like, Pirates cannot compete to keep Paul Skeens. Not possible. That being said, I think this is going to be like, was it Bob Nutting, right? Is their owner? This is going to be him being like, you know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to go out swinging. Like, if we don't win the World Series here, I might sell the team in 2030. But we got to win it right now. This is my chance to bring a championship again to Pittsburgh. And they have some of the best young players in all of baseball right now. Like Connor Griffin, we talked about Roman Anthony on the Red Sox side. Connor Griffin on the Pirate side could be an MVP candidate in a couple years. He's that good.
No, Connor Griffin, by this point, I think you come up and get a fully actualized version of Connor Griffin that looks kind of like what, like
Bobby
rookie,
Witt-ish.
I was going to say Ronald Acuna Jr.
Okay, even better.
No, like I think he has more power than Bobby Witt, honestly, at this point, which is crazy to say because Bobby Witt has a lot. But Bobby Witt, I see a lot of seasons for Bobby Witt between like 22 and 29 homers.
Sure.
If Connor Griffin hit 47 home runs, I wouldn't really bat an eye. Like he's that much of a freak. And by this time, this 2029, he'll only be 23, 24. Yeah. Like this could be like physically Connor Griffin's peak season. I think Connor Griffin's peak season could look something like 40, 70, 320, 410, like kind of one of those things where you're like, it's like a magnetism. And with that, the Pirates will have a rotation of probably still Skeens, Bubba Chandler, Jared Jones, and then probably still have Braxton Ashcraft. I think this is the last year, technically, the Mitch Keller contract. Like all of that actualized together, hopefully a little more development. Your boy Seth Hernandez will be in the fold at this point. Like you're going to have an absolute unit of a pitching staff here. All you have to do is fill that in with enough.
I was going to say
Connor Griffin.
And I think we're starting to get a little bit more of a sense of what the Pirates are thinking with the Ryan O'Hearn signing that just happened, with the Brandon Lau trade, even with bringing in Mangum and Montgomery, is they'll be able to pick guys off on some shorter-term deals to be built around these mega superstar talent players that they're going to have. And while we can chastise them for not spending money and being cheap, and Bob Nutting does this and that, and the Pirates are a joke, for an organization that is one of the poorest, in quotation marks, and one of the smallest markets, this is a smart way to build around your superstars and maximize what you have.
Totally. And when the Pirates were getting to those playoff berths. That was 2013, 2014, 2015. They weren't spending a lot of money, but they also weren't the cheapest team in the league. Like they were comfortable having something like the 22nd highest payroll, the 20th highest payroll. I'm scrolling through these years right now.
And similarly, like they had an MVP with Andrew McCutchen. They had great starting pitching at the time.
That 2014 year, they were still third last in payroll. Wow, I can't believe.
Well, that's because those guys were on their rookie contracts.
That's true. They peaked as the 22nd highest payroll in the league in 2015. Just double checking 2016 when it all started to fall apart. They were 24th. So they're willing to get out of the doldrums of it. They're willing to get to like Minnesota Twins territory to do this. And if you can just bring in a few veteran hitters, you still have Spencer Horowitz at that time. He'll still only be 32 years old.
That feels gross.
It's crazy. Like he has 5 years of team control left. Like if you can just convert any of these young players, figure out something here, like, and you have Connor Griffin stirring the whole thing together and Paul Skeens, like there's a good chance that 2 years from now the Pirates have the best pitcher and it's possible the best position player in baseball.
Yeah, totally possible in a couple of years.
Possible. If not, the best pitcher, top 5 pitcher, top 5 hitter. Like that's all very much in play.
You have that. Yeah, you have a pretty good chance if you're not the Los Angeles Angels. That's basically what you have to avoid is being the Angels.
Our boy Edward Florentino. We still have Hunter Barco and Thomas Harrington down there. Like there's exciting people up and down this Pirates organization right now, which is saying a lot because of where they've begun this whole process. But it could get fun.
James, if you pick the same World Series champion in 2030, I'm going to freak out. So you say your matchup and you say your winner, and I'll react.
Okay, 2030 World Series. I have the Red Sox over the Brewers.
Thank God. Okay, I went so crazy for this one. I went not Oakland, the Las Vegas Athletics at that point over the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're going to be in Vegas. 2028? I think is the season that they're preparing to be there. Theoretically, I think by 2030 we can firmly say they will be in Las Vegas. I think there's no doubt about that. And I've got this weird feeling that John Fisher, one way or another, is going to be spending money in Las Vegas, whether that's from external pressure we may never hear about from Major League Baseball and ownership and all that kind of stuff, or just from the fact that he's going to be making so much money because he's in Las Vegas playing all those games throughout the summer that he's going to be like, you know what? Let's bring a World Series here. I want to make sure we have like a legit fan base, something that we lost when we left Oakland.
And the way they have all of their bats locked up right now, like by then, like you'll have monsters.
That's like the back end of all those rookie contracts for all those guys right now. Like Mr. Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, Lawrence Butler, Soderstrom, Brent Rooker. Like all those guys will still kind of be in the ballpark. And again, if similarly to the Pirates, you spend a little more than you have, you can go get a ridiculously good team.
I also just want to reference with the Pirates in both of our simulations reaching and winning the World Series in 2029. That would be a 13-year drought for any team from a Central Division reaching or winning the World Series.
Wow, let's go.
A Central team has not reached the World Series since 2016.
The Chicago Cubs and they beat a Central team.
Yes, and then the year before the Royals won. So we had back-to-back Central victories, and since then we do not have any Central appearances.
No.
Which is great. And then at that time, we were having tons of Central appearances because we had way in quick. We had tons of Cardinals. We had the White Sox. We had the Tigers losing in the World Series. The Royals made 2 World Series in a row. And then all of a sudden now, sapped.
Yeah,
that's gone.
I mean, it's a horrible division.
No, it's terrible. It's a joke. But this is the one I finally have the Red Sox getting over the hump. I have the Red Sox appearing in 3 World Series in my 5-year simulation because of all the reasons we said before. I just think this team's about to be a disgusting, despicable juggernaut, the way they're running things over there. And this is just, this will be like the Boston people, like finally. I want to make them go through a little bit of struggles because,
yeah, of course.
I mean, they lose Tom Brady, they get Drake May. The Red Sox are bad for like 3 years. They have the best rebuilding process in baseball.
They lose Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen. A couple of years later, they get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
They just show up.
Yeah, they just constantly have good sports teams at all times in my lifetime.
That's ridiculous. But I do have them beating the Brewers. I want to just kind of give this shout to the Brewers for a team that, to me, seems like they're going to continue to stay in the mix. This will be, I believe, the last year of Jackson. No, Jackson Contreras has the extensions. We'll have a couple more years there. William Contreras will still be there as like a wily old veteran catcher. They'll have tons of new great young players by then. I believe Jesus Made will convert to being a near superstar level talent by this point. Jacob Mizorowski will still be under team control. All of the mutant pitchers they still have will be there and coming up, being birthed out of the ground every single year. Like, this is a team that just isn't going away. And I think at some point, if I have the Dodgers kind of taking a step back after this 5-year window that they're in, the Mets, of course, will, they'll reach their highs, but there'll always be something that stops the Mets in their way. And then I wanted to give the Brewers a shout for reaching a World Series in the next 5 years.
I like it. I can get behind that. I don't hate that idea at all, especially with all the young superstars that they got coming up in that farm system.
Luis Pena.
Yeah, Luis Pena, Jesus Mate, like you mentioned, look fantastic. I just went Dodgers because, like, honestly, if we were doing this, like, not fun, I would have the Dodgers in every World Series. Like, if we were just trying to see how many we could hit correctly, the best way to do it would just make sure the Dodgers were in every single one of these for the next 5 years, because even if they do cut back spending a little bit, even if these guys do slow down, again, it's such a well-oiled machine that they're probably going to stumble into a World Series or two in the next 5 years, which is so fucking ridiculous to say, and I am so jealous of them. Interesting, though. I'm gonna bring up some teams that we didn't mention in either of these five. No mention of the Blue Jays.
No, did not.
No mention of the Blue Jays. Any reason for that, James?
I just I don't know. I think they might get passed in real time by the Red Sox this year. I think Blue Jays fans will even tell you that the way this season went, like, it was a pretty magical run.
Yeah, I mean, they were last place last year in 2024.
Right, I think they're still a very good team, but just there's so much competition in their own division. Like, even that Game 7 against the Mariners, like, that could have easily gone either way there. I just think there's going to be a lot of
even that Game 5 against the Yankees.
It's just going to be a big fight, and I think that there's a lot that we don't know about the Blue Jays yet. Like, if the Blue Jays do get Kyle Tucker and a good deal, that might change one of these. I would definitely stick the Blue Jays into one of these.
Yes.
Let's see what the Bo Bichette contract winds up looking like, and also, like, it's going to be interesting to see how they keep managing this pitching staff. I think there's a lot of faith right now in Trey Savage, but I think that I'm not ready to say that he's a bona fide ace in the league. Fair. And after this year, you lose Kevin Gausman. We'll see where Trey Savage is. You have Dylan Cease as, like, the Kevin Gausman ace insurance. They probably will still need to spend legitimate resources to rebuild up that staff, even though I do like some of the pitching prospects they have coming up in the system there.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those where I think I like teams more. That's really what this comes down to. But again, if they sign Kyle Tucker, they might be my favorite in 2026 to make the World Series. It's just that
I think so. I just didn't want to do a rematch, honestly, which is why I didn't do that.
Also fair. Another team that I was looking at Spotrac 2030, just looking at, like, payroll rankings and stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Fun conversations. The Arizona Diamondbacks have 6 players signed in the year 2030 to contracts right now. That is the most in Major League Baseball, tied with the Dodgers and Padres. Like, you can see the Dodgers and be like, okay, I know who. You can see the Padres, you can say, I know who. Then you look at the Diamondbacks, and, like, you can kind of see you know who, but it's Corbin Burns, $30 million a year. 5 years from now, he's going to be, what, like 37, 36? Yeah. Different version of him. Corbin Carroll's great. Ketel Marte will be 5 years.
2 Corbins.
Yeah, 2 Corbins, kind of nuts. I think the only Corbins as well. Didn't we talk about this? Didn't we say that they've weirdly had, like, 3 of the Corbins. 4 Corbins to ever play in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, because they had Corbin Martin as well.
Yeah, maybe I had this conversation with Bengal. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was me.
Yeah, we talked. I think there's been 4 or 5 Major League Baseball players named Corbin to play, and the Diamondbacks have had 3 of them.
That's incredible.
Ketel Marte is on contract. Brandon Pfaadt is kind of crazy that he'll be under contract in 2030. Geraldo Perdomo, Justin Martinez. What a weird group of guys that will still be signed 5 years from now on the Diamondbacks.
I was even just looking at that for the Dodgers. The 4 players they have under contract for the 2030 season are Ohtani, Betts, Yamamoto, and Will Smith. And Yamamoto has an opt-out inside of there that he will exercise and probably get paid a lot more money to stay with the Dodgers. But the fact that they're going 5 years from now, they already have. Let's even say the Yamamoto winds up with a $40 million AAV.
Tommy Edman as well.
For 2030? I think 2029 is his last year. It
says 2030 pay. Oh, maybe this is. I don't know.
I think free agent 2030.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You're in 2029.
I'm hitting 2030 on the payroll thing on season. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I have him as last year's 2029. Even though Will Smith will still be making $12 million a year at that point,
which is gonna be a great deal.
Just as a future Hall of Fame catcher, it's gonna they're
team option. That's why.
There you go. Yeah, they're set up so well.
They're set up so well. Yeah, like they're gonna be in a bunch of them. We know that. And then another team that I do want to mention as well that neither of us mentioned was going to be the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah,
it's a weird setup for them because that's a team who, if you would have asked people 2 years ago, you would have been like, how does this team not win at least one more World Series? But last year's season and just knowing what their farm system depth looks like, it's got a weird taste in my mouth.
It is also, maybe this is like a cautionary tale for some other owners right now. Like, maybe it's not always the best idea to lock all of these guys up super long term. Like, I don't know. Like, right now, I think there's a good chance this guy gets this money, but does Austin Riley get like a 6 for 125 as a free agent right now?
Yeah, probably.
I think probably as well, but I don't think it's as much of a slam dunk as you thought the second that deal was signed. Like, there's just...
Yeah, him getting less money than Pete Alonso on the free agent market right now would have felt crazy a few years ago, but he's had back-to-back years of being like 10% better than league average at the plate.
And just the uncertainty of what happens with Spencer Strider moving forward, like you said.
He looked horrible.
Yeah, real lack of depth in their farm system. Like there's
no prospects almost in that system.
No, and like I think Ronald Acuna will be gone after 2 more years, 2028, when he's a free agent. Like so I do think that they're a team that they're almost in the same boat as the Phillies right now. I think you've also seen this from the Braves offseason, where it's
definitely.
like, let's sign 36-year-old relief pitchers because we have 2 years, we think, to actually keep this window open.
It's so crazy that Acuna is going to be on options the next 2 years.
I know. I can't believe the contract's already actually almost up. It feels like a million years ago he signed it. But
it's also if you're a Braves fan, like you like that they're going out and getting these guys, but it's terrifying.
This is late game empire stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, like this is a clear shine. Like we're taking our last shot.
Yeah, we're going for the next 2 years. We're going balls to the wall, but we don't know what's going to happen after that. There's also some ideas I want to do once we get closer to the season on this channel. I want to do the teams with the most at stake in 2026. I think that's a good one. Then I want to steal the Bill Simmons, Zach Lowe, the misery index.
Okay.
The teams in the 5 worst positions, the teams in the 5 best positions. Like I think those will be fun videos.
Yeah, we'll do those. We'll rock those out as we get closer to the season. But otherwise, next 5 World Series champions matchups as well, as told by you by the Windup. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you enjoy what you're seeing over here. Again, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to all of those out there celebrating. Not quite sure when we'll upload our next video. We might just take a little time in between Christmas and New Year's to drop a long form, but also we might still do it because me and James talk about baseball so much, so might as well record it. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know where to follow James. Tell him again one more time for him.
James Shiano.
And I'm Draft Neck Mark. We'll catch you guys whenever we do. See you then. Peace out.